everybody.
Hi.
It's us. It's 2020. Woohoo!
2021.
Oh, 2021.
Welcome to our knitting podcast.
Yes.
We're supposed to say that in the first 30 seconds.
Okay.
Knitting, knitting, knitting.
Okay.
It helps us with YouTube.
All right.
So why don't we just be like knitting, knitting, knitting. Hi, welcome to our podcast. Screw you, YouTube.
Knit.
Yeah. Probably screw you. YouTube's not going to help us.
No.
Welcome to episode 63.
Yes. Episode 63, and you can see we're half crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of what just went on that you're going to see, but anyway.
I thought I needed the coffee. Maybe I don't.
Yeah. So, I'm being very careful about the way that I sit. Because,
you and me both.
Yeah, because there is a little bit of Christmas, but I'm just going to blame it on Joe Bat.
Okay.
It's wrinkly.
I'm just trying not to get mine gaping, and I'm missing a button or two, but anyway.
Well, yeah, you cut them off.
More on that later.
All right. So today, so it's January 8th, 2021. Okay, so that's a good turn the page on that. And
let's never talk about it again.
Yeah, we're not going to talk. The thing that shall not be named now is last year.
2020.
Yeah. Okay, well, you just named
Sorry.
it. Okay. So we're going to give you an update on our projects, and we're going to go kind of circle back and update on some older things because we had some questions about some things. So it's a little bit wonky this episode until we catch up on everything. Right. And we got our first big snowfall, shovelable
which is
snow.
now melting. It's so amazing, like how much work that creates. And then it just leaves of its own accord 4 days later.
So there's green grass that I can see out there, but it was a lot of work for 2 days.
Don't you feel like if it just stayed, that work would just seem more worth not like a complete and utter waste of time?
That's right. However,
you gotta get the hay to the sheep.
We're gonna get mud, and so there's been all kinds of adventures since we last spoke. So we have, I don't know if we've shown a picture of it before, but we feed large round bales to the sheep, which are about 800 pounds each. And they are...
I'd say 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
They're heavy, yeah.
They're heavy, anyway. So we had a special thing made so that Ken can, with a spike on it, like a hay spike.
2 spikes.
To go on the ATV so that he can pick up the bales and bring them into the barn and the yard and stuff so we can feed them. Which is works perfectly, absolutely ingenious. It's really great until it breaks. So one of the spikes broke off. So there's 2 to balance the hay bale, the big round marshmallow, so that it doesn't roll around on this one spike. And one of the spikes broke. So there was a little bit of swearing the day that happened.
I wasn't here.
I think that was Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, Christmas Day. Merry Christmas. So...
Because that's like one of those things that really hits you the first time you're a farmer. You're like, I got to feed these sheep on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
Nobody does anything on Christmas Day.
Yeah, well, farmers do.
Right.
It's
they
just
really
another
do.
day.
I mean, think about it. It's just another day to feed. You can't even open the gifts. You got to go feed the sheep.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, that was quite... a lot of excitement. So that day that it broke, it was not... That was one thing. So that it broke, and that might have been Christmas Eve, actually. And then... But it was the next day when we had to... Because it broke... The spike broke inside the bale.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it broke inside the bale. So it kind of balanced out the bale, so it didn't really move around a lot on the day that it broke. But the next day, trying to get a bale on the spike, the one spike...
It balanced it out, detached,
because it was weight.
I would have thought it would have just gone bloop right underneath.
No, it kind of... I don't know, the way that it was up against the back of the thing.
Okay, it was like a support. Okay.
It was like a support.
It was like cantilevered.
But it was broken inside.
Okay.
Anyway, the next day, though, you had to get the one spike in exactly the right spot to balance because they're not perfectly round or well balanced. There's little bulges on them and stuff like that. And it was really, really warm and muddy. And the bale wasn't on quite right. And it was rubbing against the tire of the trailer that this thing is on. So one tire wasn't moving. But you could still move it because the ground was so slippery because it was full of mud. Until you hit where all the old hay was, where the sheep have, the stuff they don't like, they spit out the side or whatever. And then it worked like a plow. And the mud and the old hay all went up. Anyway, needless to say, the hay bale mover was up to the axles in mud, sheep poop, and old hay. It was not nice.
You had so much fun while I was gone.
Yeah, it really wasn't
Not
good.
that I would have been much help.
Yeah, it was really, really tense moments. Tense moments. Anyway, we got that all sorted out. We had to take the bale off. We had to readjust it and everything. But anyway, now it's fixed. So today it finally got fixed.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
This afternoon.
Oh,
this afternoon it got
Lord.
fixed. So we've got 2 spikes again.
Oh,
so
my
that's
goodness.
good. And then we figured out how to use it with we kind of MacGyvered a little thing on the to balance out the weight on the thing. But every day we lifted up the bale, we were thinking this could be the day where the next one breaks.
Yeah, because now you've got twice the weight on the one remaining spike.
That's right.
Yeah. Then what would we have done? Wheelbarrows.
I guess so. Not even,
all the way
don't
home
even
from
wanna,
the hay
Don't
road.
even want to think about it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that would have been a problem.
So that's, of course, the sheep were oblivious. So
it couldn't have broke in the middle of summer when we were just moving a bale of straw or something.
No.
It had to break
or
right
dry
in the middle of
hay.
winter.
Like sometimes we're doing dry hay,
In the
like in
summer.
the fall, late fall and stuff. But anyway, it was a nightmare. Then Ken on Christmas Eve ended up in the emergency room. He got a hay seed in his eye, and he got that out. There was no problem, but I was worried that it was scratched a little bit, so I told him to put some polysporin drops in it to make sure it was okay. And so he did that. And the next day it looked kind of red. I said, did you put your polysporin drops in as much as 4 times a day?
Thinking because of Purdy losing her eye.
Yes, exactly.
The antibiotics have to be frequent.
Yes.
Purdy's my horse.
Yeah. So I watched him like a hawk the whole day, making sure that he put the drops in.
More polysporin.
Yeah, more polysporin. Put them in. Your eye is getting red. You better put more polysporin in. Anyway, the next morning he woke up and he looked at me, and honestly, my heart stopped because his eye was so red. And when I looked at it, the white part was actually puffed out beyond the relief of the pupil. So the sclera, I think it's called, I don't know how I remember that. I told the nurse practitioner that the sclera is, and Ken was like, the sclera, okay.
Oh,
I don't even know how to do it.
What a nerd.
I think that's what even then I wasn't sure that I had it right, but she repeated it back to me. So either... I'm not sure what that meant, but anyway. So it was really scary. And it was so red. And then it was like...
And you told him to put more polysporin in it?
No, I said we better call. It was 5:30 in the morning. I said we better call. I'm going to call and see if the emergency is open, because sometimes emergency in the main hospital on the island, it's always open. But I also wanted to know that they had an ophthalmologist there. So I called, and he said, call 811, which is our free service. You get to talk to a nurse practitioner, which was really great, by the way. We get really good service.
I know they have that in Ontario,
Yeah, too. And she said, go directly to the emergency and don't wait for your local hospitals to open. It opens at 8 a.m. at the local hospital. Go now. So he was allergic to something in the polysporin drops. So it wasn't anything to do with the hay or an infection or anything. It was actually that he was allergic to the drops. And the more I told him to put the drops, I could have blinded him.
Not really.
No, he's had 20/20 vision, actually, when they tested it with his glasses.
I was going to say, really?
Yeah, no, with his glasses. Anyway, it was really scary, but he's fine. And it took a long time to get it better. Like, they gave him more drops. That like an antihistamine, and he had to take like an antihistamine pills too, but it took like a good week.
Not surprised.
Before it started to look normal. Anyway, so that was great.
Merry Christmas to you.
The cherry on the top.
Yeah, sounds like a great couple of days.
Anyway, everybody's good now.
Yeah. And we did have lots of good food and stuff over Christmas.
Yes.
and my fruit cake was quite good.
Yes,
well,
it
everybody
was.
knows that now, because I ate half of it on
So we were gifted
a
lovely bag from Jennifer with her homemade treats in it, and the cake was in it, and I was really surprised because I it was even more moist than when we tried it here, but you added more.
I doused it after we recorded.
Yeah. Okay. So the cake was wonderful.
Oh, good.
Delicious.
Yeah, we'll try that again.
The sour cherries are the thing.
Yeah. I've lost my gusto for maybe doing one in January.
Really?
Unless that's a request.
I don't know. Well, I'm wondering when you're going to make the peppermint bark. You got the chocolate, because I know it came.
I know it's the wrong kind, though. I got 33% cocoa, and it's supposed to be with the dark. So I need to order more chocolate. Oh. And you don't even want to know how many. I got like this couverture chocolate that's like not for eating. I mean, it's supposed to be for making truffles and stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't even want to know how many handfuls of callets or whatever they call those, because they're not chocolate chips, they're like the little melting baking wafery things.
Yeah, okay.
I'm eating it by the handful.
Well, I think you better make the peppermint bark.
I got a 5-pound bag.
I think you better make the peppermint bark before you eat it all.
Bad.
I love peppermint bark.
Bad. For anybody who lives out west, I got Calabo chocolate to make really this bark with, but it's too milky caramelly. You need darker, so I'm gonna get on there and get some more. Another 5-pound bag.
You can make peppermint bark out of anything, can't you?
Not the same, but I also got the white, so we're good there.
Oh, because we're gonna have white in.
Well, it's layered, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it always has the two colors.
It's been so long since I had it.
Yeah. Anyway, I did make the homemade marshmallows.
Yes, they were delicious.
They were a week late. My Christmas treats are still being doled out. My KitchenAid mixer was busted. I didn't have a hand mixer. There was all kinds of problems. So the treats are still ongoing.
Great.
Yeah.
We can just keep that rolling right into Easter.
Yeah. If you've never had a homemade marshmallow.
Yeah.
It's really something. Yeah. And it's really cool how you make them.
Yes.
So, all right. So,
and then now we have a new, for the farm update, we have a new acrobat in the flock. So
somebody
Nadia
thinks they're Nadia, but they're not.
No. They're a cheerleader instead. She's practicing to be a cheerleader. I'm not sure which one it is because I haven't been up close to her. I've just seen her in the distance in the feeder. But you saw her
she gets up on the backs of other sheep.
Yeah.
She's not like doing a puissance.
Yes.
She's actually like, you'll do. And she's stepping on their back and then getting into the feeder. It's not the same thing.
No, she's trying to do a pyramid like a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Like one of those cheerleading competitions.
She better watch it because getting out is no easy. No. I mean, I don't think she's up to the task.
Yeah.
She's no Nadia.
They're pretty round.
Yeah. So
and they got pretty spindly legs. It's not really
waiting to happen.
Yes, it doesn't really make me feel comfortable that Nadia gets in, but she does seem to be quite agile. But this one, I don't know.
I think she's figured it out and she hasn't.
Yeah.
You don't step on other sheep to get in. I mean, that's just a disaster. I wouldn't even do that, and I have hands.
Yeah, so did you see her? Did she jump on their backs and then jump?
Yeah,
or did she climb up?
No, she climbs onto their backs and then climbs into the feeder.
Yeah, not good. And they're all eating from below. So if she stays in there and eats, she's getting lower and lower.
Into the basket.
Plus, she weighs 260 pounds or 160 pounds or something. Yeah. So it's not good.
What a joker.
And what else we have? I see on the
we have I have a whole thing about this. So
apparently we're not the only ones
this year.
By the way, yes.
Okay,
it's a thing.
They say this anytime you have them. You talk to other people. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's a bad year," because no one wants to admit that they've slacked off on their pest control. But maybe it's a bad year for rats and mice. Maybe we've just gotten really lucky. I feel like we have it under control in the house.
Yeah.
But then you discovered
the community
set
center.
The stage. So they're in the back of an abandoned building. Like that we use the front of it, but we don't use the back of it. It used to be for the chickens. We don't have chickens anymore. So it's been sitting there undisturbed.
Right.
With a bunch of manure and stuff in it and probably lots of loose seed that had fallen from chicken care and whatever.
Yeah.
For nearly 3 years.
You get where we're going.
And then you looked in the window.
Yes.
And
it has a little man door. What you call it. On a farm, you have a door, and then you have man doors.
That's where the humans go through.
Yeah. And the doors are where the animals go through. So I could see kind of paths. We're talking about rats.
Yeah.
Yeah, not mice. There's mice too.
They are definitely rats.
We're not so worried about the mice, but the rats are really a problem because they really dig like big holes and channels and everything. So I could kind of see where they were going. And if you start seeing them, you've already got a problem.
Well, I have a whole funny add on to this, but just explain.
So I started seeing them, so I thought, where are they going? Because I thought they were living in the barn, but they were going somewhere. We never saw them really in the barn. So I go over to this abandoned chicken coop because I thought, well, that's kind of a likely place. Nobody has even been in that area of that building for, well, like a year and a half. So it's got a man door on it with a window, like it's just a regular door that you would put like there's your back door with a window in it, and it was all steamed up because the minute I went up to it, it all steamed up, and I wiped the steam off the window, and literally my eyes almost popped out of my head. It's the community center.
Mm-hmm. It's like so many tunnels underneath that the ground is now raised in a hump.
Yes.
Probably nests and everything. Anyway.
It was disgusting.
So this building is infested. And the time I went over and looked, there was a bunch of them milling inside, and there were some out in front of the window on the lawn, like doing landscaping.
Yeah.
Like they're not even hiding. They're like going about their chores. You know, they're like, I'm on grass cleanup today. I'm outside here, just like plain as day. You'd never think we had a dog or a cat or anything.
Yeah.
They're just living it up in there. Anyway, what makes me laugh about the whole thing, and I was chatting with Jennifer and Joanne in the shop about this the other week. Jennifer and I both being big fans of The Secret of Nim, the book.
Right.
From when, I think it was a scholastic book from when we were kids.
Yeah.
And I've read it several times, and they make these super intelligent rats in a lab, and they, so some people will be familiar with it for sure.
Well, they're already intelligent enough.
I know. It was scary. Anyway, do you remember like 6 years ago we thought we had a rat infestation? Yeah. We called the exterminator. We had found one rat dead in a water bucket.
Yeah.
So I call up the guy. I'm like, oh my gosh, our barn is infested with rats. Like somebody needs to come out here. This is a nightmare. They're drowning in the buckets and blah, blah, blah. Because I'm a little on the dramatic side.
Yeah.
They came out that afternoon.
Yeah.
And I can tell you when I had a wasp nest to clear out, the same company, it took them like 4 days to get here. So they must have thought that the rats were literally about to carry the barn off with the sheep inside it.
Right.
So he comes within a couple hours and he goes into the barn and he's like, so where's the infestation? And I go, well, right in here. This is it. Like they're he's like, well, I don't see any. I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, okay, if I come in here and have been talking for 5 minutes and I haven't seen a rat yet, you do not have a rat infestation. Okay, so
then you should call him back.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I beg your pardon. We found a dead one, and obviously they're in here. He was like, lady, here's some bait and a couple bait stations. You don't have a rat problem. So now we know what he meant.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see them. They're very plentiful if you have a real problem.
Yes. And I mean, if they see you, like, if I make a little, even like the tiniest little noise when I go over to spy on them, they're not there. But
they were bold as brass the day I looked at. Some of them were outside, going around the lawn. Yeah, well, there's other times they're not there, so something tips them off. I don't know. So they'll all disappear. But I've seen them now most of the time. It's not that difficult to see them.
No, it's not that difficult. It used to be hard to see them.
Clearly, Clyde's gotten soft with her.
She's in the house
cat. Well, kick her out for a few weeks.
She's not out. Anyway, some of them are as big as her.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we've had to take matters into our own hands again. Or what we call somebody.
Well, now we could call the exterminator.
Yeah, but they're not eating the bait. So, I don't understand. So, then there's all kinds of forums on Facebook.
Because they're super intelligent.
Yeah. There's all kinds of forums online, like farming forums and stuff, and we belong to a few of them. So, somebody said that you mix Duncan Hines. They were very specific. Duncan Hines cake mix. And somebody actually must have asked this because they were very specific, not the butter pecan kind. Wow. Either vanilla or chocolate. So I guess I don't know.
What would be wrong with butter pecan?
I don't know. Anyways,
it's too good. Use that for rum cake.
Very specific. So you mix that with sugar, a cup of sugar, a cup of Duncan Hines cake mix, and a cup of baking soda.
And this is supposed to disrupt their digestion?
Yeah. So
you wonder if it's supposed to be what?
Baking powder instead of baking soda.
That's a big difference. You better check.
Maybe I got the wrong thing. Maybe that's not why it's not working.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Everyone's used that
it's not working. They ate all my cake mix. And
Was
we
it
haven't
chocolate or
seen-
vanilla you
It
served
was the
up?
vanilla.
It was funny. I was like, Kim's like, so I'm putting out some Duncan Hines cake mix. And I was like, you have Duncan Hines cake mix? No. Kim had to go get it. I'm like, oh, okay, God. I was gonna say.
Anyway.
That just makes me have a craving for my mom's rum cake.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good one.
That's what the yellow.
I would go excellent
Duncan
with a
Hines
dark and stormy. Anyway.
So we actually do have a rat problem now.
Yeah. And apparently I was talking to a farmer friend, and her husband said that apparently it's quite a problem this year in a lot of the places. And they're not, it's
Dry
really,
summer?
I don't know, and it's weird because where we feed the grain, it's not as bad there as it is in the other places.
Well, that we
It's
know
because
of.
it's disturbed.
That's probably the
Disturbed.
that's the grocery store. They're going in there every night the
Yeah.
minute we turn our backs.
Yeah,
So-
I served them up a cake over there too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, I think you better double check which
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought of it when I was talking about it.
powder you're putting in it.
Pretty sure it was soda, but what's the bicarbonate is the soda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sodium
the right one.
bicarbonate.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Maybe
what we
you
got.
need to up your
Arm and
recipe.
Hammer. I think Arm and Hammer needs a better hammer.
Anyway,
Anyway.
rat stories
Yeah,
in the comments.
Not
Let's
great.
have it.
Yeah, oof, awful. Okay.
I mean, like I respect them and everything. They are intelligent animals, but
yeah, or go somewhere else. There's actually lots of places where they could live and have happy lives.
yeah, they found a great one.
Yeah, except for there. I mean, there's lots
Well,
of.
since we discovered it, they've probably been there since 2018.
Oh God, I don't know.
All right. Well,
Anyway,
anyways, okay. Whips and rips. On we
All
go.
right. No rips.
Yeah. So let me just quickly say that the Riva sweater is done. I don't have a photo of it, but when it was opened on Christmas morning, it was way too small. And the first thing that came out of her mouth when she opened it was the color.
I
was
love
like,
it. No?
Yes, I know. It's the wrong color.
Yeah.
Let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, now all I had to do, because I thought it was going to be too
Big.
Kids are tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they're shaped like a barrel. Like, it's really tricky to figure out. Like,
Not
just
just kids.
No, but like, the proportions are just not visually like kind of what you're thinking.
No.
Like for the bust size versus the. Anyway, it was definitely not right.
Yeah.
But I knew I had lots of room to block it out more, and so
Because
I
you were
blocked
actually
it out.
trying to squish it when you blocked it.
Yeah,
to make it
exactly. I was
small.
like, yeah. So I blocked it out, and I actually got 7 stitches for 4 inches. It's supposed to be 7.5.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, that should be plenty big. Now it fits. Everybody's happy. It's super cozy, but I still have an IOU on the color of the sweater.
Oh, okay.
So we decided we won't knit the same sweater in the original color.
Right.
Because, frankly, if I never have to knit that thing again.
Well, you've done it 3 times.
Yeah. So she's going to pick out a different sweater.
Good idea.
Same color. I'm going to do it in the brush fleece because I'm assuming it's going to be a bulky pattern if
Yeah.
it's a Heidi May pattern.
Yeah.
And away we go. So that's coming up.
Yeah.
But thank God the thing finally fits. And it's done. She didn't like the color. I mean, it's not really
She
a
didn't
child's
like it?
color.
Or it's just not what she chose?
She looked a little disappointed.
Oh, dear.
I mean, we went
she
through
didn't
the-
really choose a child's color either.
No, but it's what the model's wearing, see?
Oh, okay.
You know, so...
Starts early, folks. It's what the model's wearing.
I mean, she assumes the person who
the color
designed
that
it.
the pattern shows.
Yeah, well, that's just human nature. It's so funny because people are like that when they knit adults too. They're like, well,
I know,
want to
that's
do it in the blue.
that's my point.
It's like Felted
That's why
Tweed
I'm
comes in
laughing.
48 other colors.
Yeah.
And you want to do the one that's in the book.
Yeah.
Sure, okay, whatever.
That's
More on that later.
That's why I'm
Okay,
laughing.
so that's the Riva sweater. So you go ahead and do your stuff now because
Okay.
I just glanced at your hat and I can't believe the stunning gorgeousness
Oh,
of your
wow.
drip from last
my
time.
tan?
Your tan, yeah.
All right. So we're going to get to Rein. But this, if you've been paying attention at the last episode, I said I was going to pick up the Roamin Hat again because I really didn't do it justice. It was a bit of a disaster. So I'm making it out of Felted Tweed. And
Which works perfectly with the Milarrochy Heids patterns.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's good to know because not everybody wants to order Milarrochy from the UK.
Right.
You could get Felted Tweed instead.
Right. So the everything that I liked about it the first time, but then was disappointed because I chose the wrong yarn. And Look at that rib. It's got
Yeah,
a
I'm
lace
just
rib.
looking at it. Like, even the stitch pattern looks completely different. Like,
Yeah.
not completely different, but so much better.
Yes. Because it's so
delicate,
much finer.
yeah.
Delicate and lacy.
Beautiful.
And I've got another 2 of these to go. These the lace pattern that's along the side, and then you start doing all the color work.
And just
So
show
just
how
to
stunning
remind,
that pink's
yeah.
gonna look.
These are going to be
The
the
flowers.
colors that are going to be on the top.
The thistles.
Yeah.
And it has a little
tassel with the thistle on the bottom of each tassel.
In the pink, it's going to be really nice.
No, you do the purple and the green.
Oh,
So
okay.
you've got the gray, blue, and pink on the top, and then coming out of the center of that, you have these 2 colors.
Got a lot done too.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying knitting it.
I need to redo Teardale in this yarn.
It's, we've said this before, and we've done versions of this before, is that I should have just stopped doing it when I knew that the Selkirk worsted was going to be way too heavy to do it. I thought I could adapt, but sometimes you just have to have the right yarn.
And also, you didn't really want it. You wanted to use stash, and we just didn't have the right color scheme.
No.
It was a real stretch to put that together.
Yeah. So, you know what? It is a hat you could make out of stash, except for the main color, the purple, because I'm going to probably go through I might get it out of 1 ball of Felted Tweed, but I may need a second one. But for the rest of them, you don't really use a lot. Mm-hmm. So for the accent colors, but you need the right size yarn for this. You don't have a lot of room to maneuver in a hat.
The most exciting part of this for me is that you can substitute this in for that Kate Davies yarn, because I could have made the pabai out of this then.
Yeah.
And I like it better because for the weight, it's a 2-ply versus a twisted single.
Right.
And there's all kinds of problems with singles.
Yeah. Well, they're not as strong.
Yeah, they're just weak. Yeah. Shouldn't say all kinds of problems, but I mean, it's pretty strong, but if there's a softly spun area in it, it's at risk to break.
Yeah. Which is part of the game with them.
Right.
Like, they do have their own qualities to them, but
they're cute and fun and look neat, but it wasn't my favorite experience.
And it gives a nice fine, if you have a more rustic wool that you're trying to make a yarn out of, that gives a fine yarn because you have 1 ply. Mm-hmm. But it just is inherently it's not as
and if you're trying to sew Kitchener stitch with it, you've got your work cut out for you.
Because Kitchener stitch undoes the twist,
and you're pulling
automatically
through a single, and if there's
you have to use short stretches.
There's a weak spot in it, and you're sewing with it.
Anyway, super happy.
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
This was it's Lynette Meek's, right?
Yeah,
it's in Kate Davies' hat book.
Yeah,
but
Lynette Meek, not Meeks.
Lynette Meek. So, all my apologies to Lynette for the mess that I made it the first time. I'm hoping you forgive it.
But let me just reemphasize, a lot of people have bought that book from us. So if you're looking for yarn to do the projects, they're all done in the same yarn of Kate's. Yeah. And you could use Felted Tweed. Yeah. So which we have every color of. So you should be good. That's
great. All right. So super happy about that.
Love it. That is fun and cheerful.
Yes. So I have been working on my Rein sweater a little bit, but to be honest, for a week now, I've been kind of like, ooh. So, I've started the entire shot. All right.
Fun.
So this is in the latest ROWAN Magazine. New Nordic.
Unisex collection.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just trying to...
don't know what's...
I've got a lot of little bobbins.
This is falling apart rapidly. This is not going well at all.
Okay, there we go. It's because I didn't want to stop in the middle.
Okay, it's hitched up on your needles.
Yes, it's hitched up. And
you're doing 2 at once. Okay.
Yes. So, if this is your first time joining us, I have discovered that when things are knit in the flat, I like to do the front and the back of the sweater at the same time on the needles, which I'm still thinking is the best thing ever that I ever thought of. I'm sure I haven't discovered that, but it really works well. And in this case, it's really good because when I was doing Ken's Huxley, I did this, but it was all stockinette all the way around. This is nice because you have stockinette for the back, so just plain stitching. And then in the front, you start to see the little pattern. It's just on the front.
You could have a little more cable on there. It's a bit bunchy.
It's okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to just try to spread it out. And it's got this leaping stag. You'll see the picture. So this is what I'm doing. And I'm just getting down the foot. It's intarsia. So I've got all the little bobbins. And I'm doing a mix of intarsia and a mix of traditional color work. Because there are spaces, it's intarsia for sure, in between. I don't want to carry the navy yarn behind the white. This is Alpaca Classic. And it's quite a fine knit, so I don't want to carry a bunch of navy strands in between. So I'm doing intarsia, but where there's just a short gap in the pattern, I'll carry the white behind. Mm-hmm. And this is an important point.
Makes total sense.
If anybody has been following us all along, you know that I like to do my color work by weaving in the floats instead of just twisting them. But I find that in the style of knitting that the designer does, you sometimes have to adjust the way you carry your floats to the style that knitting practice does. So Norwegian knitting, they don't weave in the floats, they actually just twist the floats. And that's what I'm doing on this, because that's how they would do it. And I think it keeps it more to the back than when you weave the floats, it kind of tightens it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you still get flat knitting. It's not that the floats are too tight, but you have more of a chance that you're going to see a little bit of the color behind. And with this, I definitely didn't want that to happen.
And it's such a small run.
Well, it is so far because he's got spindly little legs.
Okay.
But now I've got 4 bobbins, plus my 2 balls of yarn in the main color. And I think I'm going to have to add another one because the next part that I'm coming up to, there's going to be another section where the stomach starts to come in underneath the bottom of the stag. So I said to Ken this morning, I really wish they had this stag laying down flat on the ground instead of with its legs all spread out everywhere.
Help me for a minute though. Are you purling back?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how that's happening.
You knit and purl, like flat knitting.
But it's in a circle with all the purling to the inside right now. How do you flip it around when you're
purling?
Well,
because when I get to the...
You're just purling to the inside.
No, it's flat when I get to the... Here.
Oh, right. Okay. Gosh.
This is attached here, so I don't...
never attempt that. This is not...
It's not together.
Never bring it in a circle again. Or we're going to have to go through this every episode. Okay. Just finish your row next time, because this stresses me out. I'm like, is it steeped? What's happening?
No. Look at that. Look at that. That's what every time I pick it up,
this is sheer knitting joy. Right here. That's the joy of knitting. That schmozzy mess.
Now you just made it 3 times longer.
Right.
Anyway, it's fun. I'm liking it.
I can't wait to get my sweater.
I really wish the stag didn't have so many long spindly legs. And by the way, Arne and Carlos, there's no way you're reading that chart yourself without glasses or making it bigger or whatever. It is so tiny that...
I don't know what to do about that. It's not like you have a printer that prints 14 by 18
No,
sheets.
but I have a photocopier that I can...
Yeah, it's tricky for me. I think you need that one of those apps, where it'll blow it up for you. I mean, that's the only way to go. Really, I don't have any
companion or something.
I mean, we're at that age. We need companions.
Yeah.
You've heard the whining for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's why do I have to be over here and be good when I could be over here getting rubs while you're babbling on.
Right.
What a sick. Okay.
And the sweater itself, the material, did you want to feel it again?
Well, I'm so convinced that this is going to be my sweater that yes, I want to feel it.
It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So
I mean, this is going to fit me. I'm fairly sure. I mean, it's not like going to be questionable.
You're such a good judge of fit.
It's manifestation. I don't care about it. I'm totally going to fit me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if there's no in between. If it fits you and Ken, it's not going to fit me and vice versa. Yeah. I mean, there's really only one way to go.
Yeah.
Hannah's adjusting the lighting now. Okay.
It's really nice.
Yeah. So now we do have a new feature called Drip, which is your dream in progress. This is as far as I've gotten. So I have 3 things on the needles. I have the flat rock sleeves.
Yeah.
I have the Teradel hat, which frankly, I'm over.
Okay.
I'm giving up on that. I know people, you think it's going to fit somebody, blah, blah, blah. It's not happening.
Okay, but you're going to redo it now
I want to redo it with the Felted Tweed. It'll be much better, and it'll actually be less spongy. It'll fall nicer. But I still have to learn to do two-handed double knitting, and I'm a ways away from that. And then what's the other thing I'm working on? The slipper.
Oh.
Scandiwork slipper with the negative chart. I haven't got that turned around. So I literally, of all of those, the most appealing thing to me was doing the lace for the flat rock sleeves.
Yeah.
But
and thank you for all the people that have suggested ways that she could make her life easier for the Scandiwork.
Yeah, and I'm going to do one of those because I cannot. I mean, it'll go twice as fast. It still boggles my mind the extent to which your brain will try to correct you every single time you go to do that. Like, it's really something.
Except when you're making a bad choice about something.
Clearly.
Then it doesn't correct
you. Then you can talk yourself out of it, no problem. But try to flip a black and a white square, and it's just like full stop. No. I am not going to allow you to do that, is basically what your brain is saying.
Yeah.
Like, that cannot be right. Like, boop, 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 boop. Anyway, so I ditched all. I mean, my knitting mojo is a bit, it gets iffy from time to time, and I have quite a lot going on. So I wasn't having any fun. So I picked a new project now that I'm really excited about, that I think will go fairly quickly. So I'm just casting all three of those things aside. I might work on the slipper once I get the chart flipped.
Okay.
But what I'm going to knit is this Galbraith. It's like Rowan doesn't want me to be able to pronounce anything I knit.
Well, it's Galbraith, isn't it?
Galbraith. What is that? A place? A superhero? It's a name?
I think so.
Oh, God, I have no idea. What? A Scottish name?
I don't know. It's just a name.
Galbraith? A last name?
I don't know. I've heard it as the name before.
I feel like it's a character in a something. It's not?
I don't think so.
It's not a foreign word?
Well,
with RAITH at the end?
They all have themes, so all you need to do is look at what the names of the other things until you recognize something.
Lisa, enough with the literary names. Especially ones I can't pronounce. Yeah. Okay, anyway, it's a really fun sweater, and I'm going to knit it in Felted Tweed. It calls for the Felted Tweed Aran.
Right.
But I'm going to use regular Felted Tweed DK held double, which works out exactly.
Yes.
So I obviously have to swatch and whatnot.
So there's a good hint for anybody that if you can't find Felted Tweed Aran, then use Felted Tweed DK with the regular Felted Tweed.
And the cost is the same.
Yes.
You're getting double the yardage in this anyway, so you're all good ball-wise.
Yeah, and they have a lot of the same colors.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of colors in Felted Tweed Aran, but the Felted Tweed Aran colors there are, all of them come in the Felted Tweed DK except for two, I think.
Yeah, and this one is available, but because we have this in the shop, I'm just going to use this.
Treacle.
It's so amazing. It's like this plummy brown. It's the absolute perfect color because it's quite a conservative kind of design, or I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a shaker knit almost. Yeah. But I can't do that orangey mustard color that Lisa showed it in.
It's actually
in the magazine. Cinnamony. Okay, it's too orangey for me.
Yeah.
And I think this is a perfect compromise because I didn't want to do it in black or gray because I don't want it to look casual. Yeah. And I didn't want to do it in a bright because then it would look silly because it is kind of a traditional design.
Yeah.
So I thought flattering but not crazy, but also not boring black or gray. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, this is perfect. It's sort of not really a neutral, but almost.
I'm looking at your ball of headland that's over there. It's kind of like that. Kind of the same. A
little bit.
Yeah, a little bit more neutral.
Yeah. So I'm actually really excited to cast this on. Obviously, I'm going to swatch first and block my swatch.
Right.
I might actually swatch this tonight because Rachel's coming over.
Oh, okay.
Super excited. So that's my drip. That'll definitely be on the needles by next time.
It's fine.
And I'm ditching everything else temporarily till I get organized and I can make the projects not
do justice.
The flat rock sleeve is fine.
Yeah.
I'll pick that up again. I mean, I'm not enjoying that.
Yeah.
But it's just, I need something a little bit more mindless for TV time.
Yeah, well, my Roamin Hat, I have the pattern memorized now, so I'm just knitting along. And then stockinette on my Rein.
Yeah.
Like, both of my projects are easy knitting.
I need some of that in my life.
Yeah.
So
except for when I get to the
I think last time, I don't know if we did this on the episode, but I decided I was going to do the Sunday cardigan again.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind, and this is why I'm wearing this today. I've decided that you might be right. That positively everybody who knit this and then wore it after ended up having to put it in the dryer.
Right.
So I'm thinking all mine is missing is body heat.
Yes.
I mean, this band is not going to get bigger.
Yeah.
I could rebind that off with a super stretchy or something.
Anyway, that's not the main.
That's not the problem. So I just think if I and I do have another button, so I can replace the button that I sold to somebody. And I really don't need the top button.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to know?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to wear it and see if it gets bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it only has to get...
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's already not tight.
I feel like it isn't.
Yeah.
So what went wrong?
I don't know.
Anyway, I think if I wear it, it'll actually...
Yes.
Might end up perfect, because everybody else had to put theirs in the dryer.
Right.
You did, Rachel did.
Yes. It looks nice on you anyway.
And it's something that I would wear.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So this is why
Good,
I'm wearing
happy.
this, and I'm not knitting it again now.
Okay.
And I'm going to hope that it just kind of turns into the cozy thing that I want it.
Well,
magically
it sort
with
of
body
already
heat.
is. It's not even clinging to you anywhere. It already looks bigger.
Well, I don't know what yeah. From being on the mannequin?
I don't know. It already looks bigger.
Well, I'm not smaller, that's for sure. Okay. So that's that. Okay.
Right. So the other thing is that I got lots of questions about the fact that I didn't even mention Arne and Carlos balls on the Christmas balls on the last podcast.
We've got a few of them.
So I did keep going, but to be honest, I kind of lost my steam after I realized that I completely messed up the whole advent calendar thing. Thank goodness I think there's 3 people in the world that did the same thing, because 2 of them wrote to us.
No, there's probably like 300,000.
Anyway,
but
so
we're like that, eh? We're like perfectionists. Like, well, now I'm not doing it.
Well, that's not exactly how I felt. It was that I was really doing well.
It wasn't fun.
No, I was really doing well keeping up to them. Day 4, I was on day 4. Too bad it was the wrong set of patterns. I was on my 4th ball and I even had worked ahead to
But
try to
you could have made up for that in a day and got back on track.
No, we're doing them every day.
I know. So do 4 one day, do the right ones.
Well, that would be the whole day. Like, I wasn't going to just dedicate.
Right. Well, anyways, you've definitely upped your ball quota.
Yeah. So
this year.
Yeah. This one was one from last year. This is out of the old book. But these ones are all new. And I did those. And I had the mini ones, because that was the debacle. The mini and I actually have another mini one done that doesn't have the hanger on it. But, so, yes, I had made quite a few balls.
Considering it took you 8 years to get 2 done.
Yeah.
I feel like this is good progress.
They're fun projects.
Yeah.
It's just now I was doing we're a little bit not focused.
Not at all.
So,
not even close.
Anyway, but look. That looks like
I feel like we're going to simmer down now.
Simmer down.
Get down. We're going to get down to brass tacks on the knitting thing.
Yeah, you simmer down.
I know. I have no focus whatsoever.
Yeah. So that's it. All right.
All right, good. Okay, so shop update wise, we don't really have a lot of new stuff.
No.
However, we've been doing our spring planning with the ROWAN collections that are coming out, which we're not allowed to talk about till March 1st, I just found out. But
How do you know that?
I wrote to Catherine.
Oh.
I was gonna blab the whole thing.
Oh.
And I was like, before I do that, I better check with her. So, because I'm anxious to get started. Mm-hmm. So there's obviously a really nice spring magazine coming that we've seen a sneak peek of course, because we have to do our planning, and we're going to be really organized this year, and we're not going to run out of stuff for you all.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Yeah. So far, so good. We've planned things.
We're on target.
Yeah.
To not have a disaster.
Yeah.
Where we don't have any of the things we show, which is pretty much what happened last spring.
Yeah, that's kind of the secret to success.
Yeah. So we're all excited. So like we know what projects we're going to be knitting and what samples we're going to have and what yarns. So, but what we can talk about is the yarn lines we're adding. Because if you're a ROWAN junkie, they'll already know about these. So we're adding Denim Revive.
Yes.
And we're adding Creative Linen.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
you
on
just
the
order.
board. No, I haven't done the order yet.
Okay.
I'm just still working on it.
Okay. So what else? Is there anything else we're adding?
There were, while we were ramping up, so our thing with Rowan is that when we have the line in stock, we'll have every color that they make or that's available in sweater quantities in the store so that you can find, if they make it, we have it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Summer Light 4-ply is not the case because we got half of it in and then we moved on to the fall project. So I didn't bother ordering. So we're going to complete the line of Summer Light 4-ply. So we'll have every shade. So we were just getting going on the Summer Light 4-ply when we kind of switched gears and went into the fall knitting at that point. So I only had half of the Summer Light 4-ply. So we'll complete that line. We've got the complete line of Summer Light DK. We will probably get the Creative Linen. And there's a couple other ones that we're looking at that are smaller lines that we'll just get the whole thing in because they only have like 11 or 12 shades and stuff like that. So we'll do that. So we'll have mostly everything that they're going to feature in the summer, their spring-summer books. We'll have those yarns.
And we've got some kits planned.
Yes.
2 kits for Arne and Carlos Designs.
Yeah.
Which are exciting. And I've got 3 or 4 projects picked out that I want to do in the season, which is 6 months long because they only do magazines twice a year.
Right.
And you've picked out nothing.
Yeah, not yet.
Oh, I haven't seen what you're planning on doing.
No.
Is it you're doing a men's design?
You'll see in March.
Oh.
No. No, you can see I haven't decided. I looked through, I'm going to look through before I place the order to make sure that we have what... But the Denim Revive is for one of the ones that I'm going to do.
I kind of want to add the hand knit cotton, like more colors, because we do have part of that too.
Well, 3.
And it's a more bulky cotton yarn.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see what happens with the rest.
Okay.
The small ones.
But yeah, it's nice to know what you're going to knit. I'm actually kind of enjoying the process. We'll see if I still am interested in the projects when, I don't know, it feels like a relief to me right now, but.
Good.
And I think they seem manageable.
Yeah. Well, it's just, somebody came into the store and said, because we had that trunk show that we had with those Rowan samples and everything. And they said, look at this and how they were, intimidated is not the right word. They were impressed that you could knit by hand. But honestly, there really hasn't been a Rowan pattern that I've knit that is, painful or difficult, as long as you're just following the instructions. Like they're not the classic lines, and they've come up with beautiful designs, but it's not like they're convoluted techniques or anything. They're really doable. They really are doable. And
I would agree.
They're all the patterns are like the tech editing is perfect, and you're not wondering, like there's no mistakes in the patterns that I haven't found a mistake anywhere that I've knit. So that's a lot of some of the complications when you're knitting is when the pattern is not well written
or well tested
or
the yarn is inconsistent, or it's a good way to go. Like.
Yeah.
I just remembered too that somebody came into our shop last week and called us bougie.
The 2 sheep farmers.
Yeah, I was like, I've got some coveralls that will fit you. How about we go shovel some sheep manure? I'll show you bougie. Like it's a knitting store. Yeah. Like what's bougie about that? Get over it. Oh my God. It bothered me for 3 days. I was like...
I thought at first when you came back and told me, I thought she said you were boozy.
Bougie is the new slang for bourgeois, by the way, or the bourgeoisie. Yeah. So I was like, seriously, lady? I've got shit under my fingernails.
Like secretly delighted that somebody would think that we were like that.
I was like, I don't know to be offended or complimented, or I really had to wrestle with it for a few days. I told all my friends, I'm like, what do you think about that? Like, what? It was because of this Rowan design that was in the shop, and I just thought, wow, if knitting is bougie. Yeah, I don't know what bougie is then. Yeah, seriously, like I'm a sheep farmer.
I think that that's a compliment because those.
You
of
would.
Course, I always think it's a compliment, but it's because those sweaters and the projects that you can make it's almost hard to believe that you can make it and that it's doable because they look so good. Like they really do.
Well, this is why I brought it up in this section.
Yeah.
But I just
they really like there's no need to be intimidated. So, you know, when
it was
people,
hilarious. It was like a university student. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of thought it was funny, and then I was kind of like, did you just call me bougie to my face in my store? And I'm thinking, I'm a farmer. Like, I'm pretty sure I've shoveled more manure in my lifetime than you have.
Maybe. You don't know where she came from. Anyway, I wouldn't be offended.
I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, 21-year-old.
Yeah. Speaking of that.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, yeah. Speaking of that, there's no like 20-year-olds that watch our thing, so I don't.
Well, there might be one.
And if there are, I'm sure they're very charming. I mean, if they like us, they can't be all bad. But I went and I got a new bra, and there's a shop here in Canada called La Senza. I'm pretty sure it's only in Canada, but it's like a mall shop. So I mean, every city has one. So it's just really easy. You can order it online. You can go into the shop, whatever. I mean, the shopping in Charlottetown is not anything to write home about. So we take what we can get. I wanted a pair of matching underwear, and they were sold out online. I just thought, I got this kind of fancy bra. I just want the underwear that match. Nothing on the website, because I really try to avoid going to the mall at all costs. So I was in town last night. I thought, I'm just going to go in and see if by chance, because I knew it was a discontinued color, that they have a pair kicking around in there that will match this bra. No big deal. So I go in and I tell her the color, and the young woman who was running the store last night did have a very good grasp of everything that was in stock.
You were impressed with her
knowledge. I was impressed.
Of the
she knew every single pair of underwear that she had in that shop. And I had seen a matching pair in the window when I was in the mall briefly on Boxing Day, but there was a huge lineup because of COVID and whatever, and I thought, I'm not waiting in line to go get this one pair of underwear, but I can see them right there through the window. So I had an inkling that there was a pair there. So I go in and I'm like, well, I saw some on Boxing Day. She goes, oh yeah, I have one pair that matches. And I said, great. You know, because everything was 40% off because the discontinued color. And I was like, what luck? What size is it? And she goes, small. And I was like, perfect. And she goes, yeah, but she holds it up and it's like kind of like got like some strings on the side. Nothing. It wasn't a string pair of underwear, but there were like embellishments.
Okay.
Like sort of like sexiness embellishments. And she looks at me and she goes, yeah, but I don't think you're going to want these ones. They're like really fancy. I'm thinking, I'm sorry.
You're so old.
Yeah. Because I'm clearly...
Because you had to put your glasses on to sign the...
I did not. Because I'm clearly middle-aged. The mere presence of an additional ribbon on the underwear was far beyond the scope of what I could pull off. I was like, wow, okay, I'm taking them. Thank you.
And thank you for your input.
Imagine. They're really fancy.
I should go in and get a pair.
Should I just be wearing men's boxer shorts then?
Yeah,
or
should have just went right over to the jockey store.
Little does she know about my crochet bikini plans and everything else. Like, I'm sorry. I hardly think... I mean, it's La Senza, not Fredericks of Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, their idea of fancy is not exactly avant-garde, okay? No. I think I can handle it.
It's not like they had leopard print.
Yeah, I don't need somebody to, like, come in and assist me in getting them done up.
Because there's so many rivets and stuff.
Yeah, like, what? Oh, my God. I'm like, I don't look as young as I think I do, and clearly the braces aren't helping like I thought they would. All right, then. Thank you. No judgment. Oh God, what a humbling experience aging.
Right.
Why I don't go to the mall.
Yeah.
But I did find a pair of discontinued underwear in a discontinued color for 40% off in my size.
Right.
But I had to be insulted to seal the deal.
Oh well. She'll be there someday.
Straight up.
Yeah.
It's coming for you, sweetheart.
And then what were you saying this morning when you were telling me in the barn that you when you were younger?
I remember when I was 16. I've always had a little bit of a thing for fancy lingerie. I like it. Like, it's girly, right? And I'm like super girly. Anyway, I remember my first fancy set I bought, trust me, no one was going to see them. It was like for no reason whatsoever. I was like 16 years old. And there was like this older lady, but now I'm afraid to even say she was older because I don't know how old she was. She wasn't. She was like gray hair. She was gray hair. And we're like at 32. We're at Eaton's in the lingerie department.
Yeah.
Clearly the scene of so many of our developmental happenings in our lives,
right.
The Eaton's lingerie department.
Yeah.
Anyway, and she's kind of looking at me like, oh, it was like a red satin set, and she's like, well, dear, these certainly are festive. And she's like putting them in the thing. So I was too young. Yeah. Now I'm too old.
Right. Should I tell my Eaton's lingerie story?
Was there another one?
No, you remember about the Christmas. Because everybody knows that you've heard the Christmas stories. You knew that I worked in the cosmetic department at Eaton's.
Right. There was one you had wished you had told.
Yes.
No, well, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely.
So it happened in the lingerie department at Eaton's. So.
As all important developmental incidents do.
Yeah. So I guess the way our Eaton store was set up is that the cosmetic department was right in the front. And then you went around, the ladies' wear section was all there. And then right next to the ladies' wear section, so 2 departments over was the lingerie department. But for some reason, often it was
diagonally across the aisle, wasn't it?
So so you get asked to go over there and help out sometimes. Plus, it was not, they weren't going to ask the guy in menswear to go help out in lingerie. So it was somebody from that side of the store. So I went there, and I can't remember exactly how this all played out because I was there before Christmas, and then I was there again after Christmas and happened to be talking to the same customer. So the wife of the customer that I waited on. So I don't know how that happened, but so a gentleman came in, and, the guys come in, and I used to work in a clothing store as well, and they try to size you up and then to see if that's how you compare to their partner. Yeah. And you think it's hard to judge a kid's size. Apparently judging your wife's size, you have visions of your wife that may not be correct. Either you think she's bigger than she
cognitive dissonance,
or you think she's smaller than what she is. So anyway, this gentleman came in, and he's trying to find a Christmas gift for his wife. So I suggested a little fancy little set. Could have been a teddy, because teddies were big at that time. Remember when it was all about the lacy teddies? So it could have been that. The kind where the pants were
or
the whole
like a
thing.
Romper.
Is that what
they're back in?
Okay.
Not that I would know, because clearly I'm not going to wear anything like that at my age.
Yeah, what a nightmare. No problems with your bladder if you're going to buy a Romper.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah. Anyway, that was bad enough when I was 18, let alone now.
Right,
anyway, so I said, well, what size is she? He goes, oh God, I don't know about your size. So it would have just started in university. So I was like 18 or 19. I was a lot smaller than I am now, but I still had I was a little curvy, I guess. Anyway, about your size. So I got them all. I said, well, this is the size I would take, and I got them all sorted out, boxed it all up for him and everything, because you used to be able to get Christmas boxes back then with the tissue.
Now you can't even get a bag.
Yeah, and off he went. So I thought, well, that was my good deed for the day. And somehow I was back in the lingerie department when the wife showed up with the box, and she said, threw it onto the thing. Said, my husband bought this for me, and there's no way it fits. And I said, oh, okay, well, that's no problem. I didn't know who she was. So when I opened up the thing, I remembered that it was the one. And I said, oh, well, that's no problem. We'll just exchange it. I actually helped your husband with this. And she goes, yeah, right, figures. She was a little bit rounder than I was at the time. And she was really teed off that he thought that I was the same size as her. So I don't know if I would. Well, that's what I said. The fact that he sees her as,
what she would consider
an 18-year-old, not bad. It wasn't bad. Wasn't not a Barbie doll.
Maybe she's just annoyed that he hasn't paid enough attention to even be accurate.
Well, I don't know. But I was, and then I started thinking, maybe I should be insulted. Anyway, she was another one that had a happy Christmas, obviously.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen with a body lotion powder, like spa kind of gift set in Dior or something that I sold a man one year, and she came back and she was annoyed. She's like, what a waste of money. I can't believe you would buy this from me. I don't use this stuff. And I'm like, maybe you should try. It might improve your humor.
I never ever understood working in retail. I never understood why people would be upset when someone bought them a gift that they didn't need. Like, what would you prefer? That he bought you a vacuum cleaner?
Seriously, like, give the poor man some credit.
Yeah. So
he bought you Dior body lotion. Like, suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah. I had a friend whose husband thought it was a great idea to buy her a new washing machine for her anniversary, and the poor Sears delivery guy that delivered it. She
needed danger pay.
She said, "Get that out of here." And he said, "Whoa, why?" And she said, "That's my anniversary gift. I'm not getting." And then he got home. I forget what was his name.
Take it out on the delivery guy.
Linda and I think his name was William or whatever, her husband.
Anyway, gosh.
He said, she said, I told him when he got home that I didn't want something to make my life easier. She sent it back, and he said, "Well, you needed it." She goes, "That's right, I needed it. That we could buy that because I needed it for my anniversary. Give me something I don't need." Which is true. A luxury.
You can't win.
Yeah.
It's really funny that she got involved, the delivery guy.
Yeah. Yeah. She refused the delivery.
He was probably like, oh.
Yeah. She refused the delivery.
It's off the truck. I can't take it back now.
Yeah.
Oh boy. My goodness.
Anyway, so that's it. So that's shop update. Not our update. Not our shop update, but the shopping update.
The shopping update. Oh, that's funny. All right. Yeah. We have a couple Ask Us Anything.
All right. So we had an we had a question that came up on the comments of the YouTube channel, actually, which I'll answer here. So I wrote down the name, and so it's Natasha, but if you can pronounce that last name.
Please, I didn't know Galbraith was a thing.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Natasha.
Natasha P. We're not going to butcher your name.
Natasha. Natasha.
We are going to butcher your name, but not both your names.
No.
Okay.
So Natasha wanted to know, she looked at the helical knitting tutorial, and she's saying, how do you bring the 3 rows back down to 1 row, if you know what I mean. So I'm not sure that I know what you mean, because it's not rows. I think you mean the 3 stitches that you're slipping. So when you're doing the helical knitting, and if I'm not answering the right question, then just let us know. So when you're, I think she's talking about the 3 stitches that you slip. What happens when you're back to 1 skein of yarn and you don't have to do helical knitting? You just keep knitting like you would normally. You just ignore those. It's like the 3 slip stitches never happened. That's all. Just
knit through them.
Yeah.
Knit them. Don't slip them.
Right.
Okay.
Just start knitting them. There's no problem.
Just give her. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So that was an easy one. If I answered the right question.
All right, we'll see. So then somebody wrote in and said, you need to get Rachel on the show. We'd love to meet her. I agree.
Yeah.
And if I could convince Rachel to come on.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a wealth of everything.
Yeah.
And she's some kind of knitting ninja, because I'll tell you, she's never swatched in her life.
Oh,
and pretty much everything turns out. She mocks my swatching mercilessly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. She's like, you need to... She goes, the problem is you're so uptight with all this swatching. You should have just knit the thing. It probably would have turned out great. I'm like, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
There's like, you're overthinking everything. So yeah, someday maybe we'll convince Rachel to come on.
Yeah.
And then TCU Heather asked, where can we get knit night recipes? Well, you got to get them from Rachel.
Yeah.
And she's not giving them up.
No.
We've asked her to create a cookbook.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's still on her list of things to do or not.
We haven't been nagging her since we haven't been able to have our local
because we're not even
night.
eating the knit night recipes now.
Yeah, that's right.
And then TCU Heather also asked, what are the knitting podcasts we watch? And the truth is that I don't watch anything. Like, I don't watch TV. I don't watch, unless somebody's here, like I have company. My television is never on. I don't, and because we do our own podcast, I'm very involved in that. I just don't watch anything. I don't watch anything. I don't have any shows I'm following, really. Like, you watch a lot. So go tell them what your favorites are.
So I never miss an Arne Carlos.
I mean, I do watch Fruity Knitting. Because, if I was going to watch anything, that would be the one and only one that I would probably watch. I'm very intrigued by Arne Carlos, but I just can't incorporate anything else in. If I'm going to be watching anything on my TV right now, it better be a workout.
That's because you need to work on a project where you can watch TV.
Well, this is it. Yeah. So if I'm knitting, the stuff
I'm knitting while I'm watching the.
I'm not watching anything. I can barely knit with the thing off, let alone knitting with it on. Okay. Truthfully.
So I watch Arne Carlos.
Yes.
Because they're hilarious.
Yeah.
So
I would love to.
Yeah, and let's face it. There's certain ones that I watch because I watch them. Like I watch Fruity Knitting without knitting because I don't want to. I want to hear like the interview. Yeah. But honestly, most of the podcasts that I have on, it's more like you think you're watching, but if you're really concentrating on something else, you could watch it again the next day and not remember. I just had
That's probably why we have so many views.
I was like,
no one's actually watching
it wasn't a knitting podcast. It was another. I'm into this buried England, and they're digging up like old archaeological digs, but it's all about bones and stuff like that, and they're like trying to figure out how the person in 1120 died of whatever. So I'm watching that, so I'm really enjoying it while I'm knitting. And then I watched one, and I literally was 40 minutes into it, and I realized I'd seen it the day before. So you think you're watching, but you're not really. Yeah. Anyway, so but I do watch Arne Carlos. And I watch Fruity Knitting and I never missed an episode of those two. And then other than that, I kind of dabble along in different things. You watch Grocery Girl
sometimes?
Sometimes.
We used to watch Espace Tricot sometimes.
Yeah.
They're not recording that often anymore.
No. And I watch, the ones that I watch because I want to learn something or I want to, and I do visit YouTube quite often, like for tutorial type videos as well.
But we've tried a lot over the years. We've watched a lot of knitting podcasts.
Yeah. And
not a lot of them take, but Fruity Knitting is the ultimate.
Yeah.
And Arne Carlos would be.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna spend my time like watching those, because I really watch them. I may be doing like easy, simple knitting, but to just really spend my time. And then Ken's not really interested in other podcasts either. So by the time he comes to sit down for the night to watch TV, we're not watching knitting podcasts anymore. Yeah. So I
think you're right. I need to knit something that I can actually watch a podcast during.
Yeah.
And then I would have it on.
There's some really good ones, but I'm not faithful, I guess is the right word, but Arne Carlos I watch because they're just like they got a big variety of stuff. They don't even really talk about knitting much anymore.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, they used to do tutorials
like ours.
Yeah. They it's more like they're just their chit chat, and because we met them virtually or whatever, I find them interesting.
Yeah. That was really actually a great privilege to get to do that event with them. Yeah. So and they want to come see us in person, and we are definitely we would love to arrange.
They might say that to all the girls. I don't know. Anyway,
don't string us along, Arne and Carlos.
Yes. Anyway, poor Carlos is kind of off the
he's taking a break.
He's taking a break. So if you haven't watched their latest podcast, he's announced that he's has to take a break for some therapy.
Self-care.
Yeah. So related to COVID, his COVID thing. So if you watch Arne and Carlos, you know all about it already.
Yeah.
But
so that's it. I mean, I think when you're as busy as we do, we don't have a lot of leisure time, honestly, and we've got hobbies that we don't do.
I started a new hobby.
Yeah.
Which is cutting into any other podcast time. So my TV watching has gone down because I've started to learn calligraphy.
Right, and you can't do that while you're watching anything. Okay.
And you know what? It's like meditation. So nice and quiet.
I went through my calligraphy phase in like elementary school. I took it up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a little set from the Mons stationery store.
Oh, okay. So I have my little area set up. I've got my little old-fashioned inkwell with the little stopper on it. And I have my pointed pen. I'm doing pointed pen. And
oh, God. I use the cartridges.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I'm rating my
really
Victoria.
Taking it to a whole other level. You couldn't do it with a cartridge?
I didn't want to.
Of course not.
There's all kinds of
I'm
little.
surprised you're not doing it by firelight.
Well, it is
with
almost,
a lantern.
It's almost. I wanted to be authentic. Doing my little drills, thick and thin hairline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The horseback riding is just not coming back. We don't have the insurance for that.
No.
I think subconsciously we just know that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
All right, so our last Ask Us Anything question was by Rita J.Y. And she's asking, does she need to alternate Glashfin Granite? No, you do not. So Glashfin Granite was blended on the Carter. It's an undyed yarn that we made. So there's no need to alternate the skeins. There's no chance it got uneven in the dye vat. It's not dyed. If it's not dyed and if anything that was blended on the Carter is mixed about as mixy as you can get it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the difference between hand dyed and commercial dyed. Commercial dyed is dyed prior to spinning.
Right.
Ours is dyed after spinning. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Yeah. So if you dye it prior to spinning, it then goes into the Carter, which is basically like putting it in a blender. Yeah. There's no chance it's going to be uneven. Yeah. So even
when we first started, we used to make our yarn. Well, we made our yarn for what, 3 weeks?
Not
like
even.
that. Not even. We didn't like it because it didn't look different enough from a commercial yarn.
We like the different colors, tones in ours, but it does mean you need to alternate it. But anything that's undyed, that's a batch of something that only went through the Carter in terms of blending is definitely safe to not alternate. Yeah. So that's probably a huge relief. You're welcome. You're off the hook for that project, Rita. Yeah. And thank you for sending in the question.
Right.
Okay. Right. I think that's it for today.
Ready for the harmony part?
Yeah, we're ready for the harmony part. What's the harmony part?
You never let me say what it is.
It's a secret. I don't even know, but let's go get harmonious.
Okay, so we're going to say goodbye.
We're going to say goodbye. We're going to go to the harmony part.
If you just adore all the craziness, and we haven't driven you crazy,
if wacky's your jam, then give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, subscribe.
Put your comments below. I'm way behind on answering comments.
I noticed that. Oh. I didn't answer any because I know that messes you up.
Yeah, well, I actually meant to go in and do them today, but I'll go in and do them before this goes up.
And hit the notifications button.
Yeah.
Because it's important. It's important. So if you can do, that's your homework.
Yeah. And please recommend us to your knitting friends. Mm-hmm. Because we could use more viewers. Yeah. We're falling far short of our 10,000 by Christmas goal. Yeah. Far short.
Although we had got quite a few subscribers. So if you subscribed, thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah. Since we made our plea.
Yes.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
So the harmony part. Stay tuned.
Harmony part.
Relax.
Coming right up.
It's the Shavasana.
Yep.
Of the podcast.
Which you need after listening to us for an hour and a half.
That's right.
Sure.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Starting over then?
No.
Oh. Okay.
We're going to roll with it.
All right. Okay.
No, Hannah. Go lay down. This isn't about you.
Come on.
Get, you turkey. Go. Go lay down.
Okay. I guess that's all going to get cut out.
No.
Oh, okay. All right, here she comes again.
People always want to see the dog.
No, I don't want to see the dog.
Okay, well, other people do. Dog people.
Right. I'm a dog person.
Yes. And if you believe that, after
Well, I
that,
have a dog. I had one, and I can't. It's not my fault it died.
Okay.
All right.
This is off to a terrible start. Okay.